Hey, what's up you guys, this is DylanDistorted, and today we're going to be going over the subreddit r/PettyRevenge. This is like ProRevenge, only, you guessed it, pettier. This isn't the big supervillain schemes to get back at someone. This is the tinier ways of getting back at someone. This is the subreddit that's equivalent to someone bullying you so you stick gum to their hair. I think. I'm not really fully sure how that analogy plays out. But anyway, let's hop right into this. So you want to snoop in your daughter's texts? So I'm married to a wonderful woman. She's smart, funny, and very kind. Her mother is generally very nice and tends to have a great attitude and be very enjoyable. A bit of a prude, but generally enjoyable. However, can be a bit of a major snoop. If my wife leaves her phone sitting around, she will just pick it up and start going through it. My wife has kind of laughed this off as a remnant of her mom being controlling when she was a kid. I'm not a fan of this because my wife and I will sometimes text about things that simply don't involve her mother and I don't feel are her business at all. So over Christmas, I saw my wife set her phone down on the kitchen counter and I had a brilliant idea. Her mom was still in the kitchen and I sent my wife the most sexually depraved text about all the things I was going to do to her when everyone left. Honestly, most of them are things we haven't even done, but I had to make sure it was extra scarring. I sent this text from the bathroom, and maybe it was my imagination, but I could swear I could hear an audible gasp shortly after her phone went off. When I went out, her mother absolutely would not look me in the eye. Then, not so discreetly, asked my daughter to come talk to her in the other room. When my daughter came back into the living room, I thought she had been crying. However, upon closer inspection, she was laughing. Her mother had questioned her about me sexually abusing her, and if I always talked down to her like that. My wife had told her kindly that what we do between us is us only. Probably the best gift this Christmas. Hey, I mean, if she wanted to snoop, you gotta be prepared if you're gonna snoop through someone's phone. Like, you don't know if they have, titty pics on there, or dick pics, or what's going on. Like maybe it's just all flat down there and they have that on their phone. Do you really want to see that? No? Then don't snoop through their phone. You don't know what kind of freak they are. But in all seriousness, I mean, I guess if the mom didn't really care, then it doesn't really matter. But this is a great way to get back if it bothers, the husband like this. Because really, it is none of the mother's business. Take my parking spot that I just dug out? Fine. I'll bury your car. This happened a couple years ago. It had snowed a bunch, and so I went out to clear a spot for my boyfriend at the time for when he got home from work. Police officer. I spent a while digging it out, and as I was finishing up, some girl drove up and parked in it, while I was still shoveling it. I told her that I just dug it out intending to use it, and asked her to move, and she didn't. She then got out of her car and walked away. Turns out she lived 2 buildings down, so she normally wouldn't park there anyways. Our complex had a mini snowplow, and the dude was plowing in the area and saw this all go down. He helped me move all the snow from the pile he just created and put it all around her car. We buried it up to the door handles on all sides. He then dug out a new spot for me. Saw her later trying to dig out her car. Turns out she didn't have a shovel. So naturally, because I'm petty, I went out and reshoveled the sidewalk from the lot up to our building and threw all the snow on her vehicle while I did it. Then went inside and took my shovel with me. This one hits really close to home because, as I said in a past video, I am a bus driver. I drive school bus, and when it snows, I have to go out early and clear my bus. About a week ago when it snowed on the weekend, and it gave us Monday and Tuesday off because the school closed. And I was going to clear my bus off, like I usually do. Usually they have helpers that go out and they volunteer and they clean off all the buses. Unfortunately for me this time, I was heading there and I got a text from my boss saying, "Hey, are you heading to the lot?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm heading there to clear off my bus." And that's when he said, "Okay, you have to clear off all 6 of the buses." And I don't know if you ever cleared off a bus, or you can probably imagine it. It's really freaking annoying. There's this long scraper that you have to reach up and scrape off the top of the buses, usually leaving the bus with a mohawk. So you got to get in the buses and then open the window and then put the scraper through the window just to get the mohawk off of the bus. Because legally, we can't drive it like that. I was told that this other girl was actually going to come and help me, but I saw a car, and the school was closed this day. I saw a car pull in, start driving slowly by, and then sped off, and I've never been so angry. So my petty revenge is when I got to her bus, I didn't clear it all the way off, and I told my boss, "Hey, I haven't seen this person, they haven't showed up. They're probably just running late, but if they do show up, just tell them that they just need to start all the buses to make sure they start tomorrow morning, and they have to do regular maintenance checks on the rest of the buses to make sure all the snow's off. Knowing full and well that I didn't fully do her bus, and if she doesn't show up, look who has to do it early morning, and she's probably gonna show up at the normal time thinking I did all the work for her. Kind of a dick move, but I was kind of mad because I'm pretty sure that was her car because she parks next to me every day, and I know her car. The next morning, she was clearing off her bus, so who knows, it probably was. Taking my parking spot? What goes around comes around. This may be the pettiest thing I've ever done. So in my city, there's a pub that's attached to a donut shop that serves the best donuts in the city, which always causes a long line. Because it's attached to a pub, it doesn't close the shop until 9 p.m. as there is a solid flow of business rolling in. Anyway, my girlfriend and I get a serious hankering for some snacks, so we decide to head to the donut shop and arrive around 8:30 p.m. by car. Now, there are only 3 parallel parking spots a little up the street from the place, and they are all 15-minute spots, which are usually full. We see up the street that, count our lucky stars, a spot is free. My girlfriend pulls a little ahead of the car in front of the spot, turns on our indicator, and begins backing into parking spot when this little white Vespa driving behind us whips into the spot. I roll down our window and call out to the driver, "Excuse me, we were just backing in." The driver seems to be a pretty uni student who shrugs her shoulders and calls out to me, "Sorry, first come, first served," while her and her friend share a good laugh. My girlfriend suggests we just get donuts another time, and I tell her she can drop me off here. I'll buy the donuts since I know what she likes, and she can loop around. She agrees, and I pop out of the car, past the little white Vespa where the girls are still gathering their things, and head to the shop. As always, the line is super long for donuts, and since this is the last batch, the donuts are slim pickings. The girls are behind me, looking at the 5 or so different flavors that are left, talking about which ones are best and which ones they haven't had yet. I hear one of them jokingly mention, "Thank God we got a parking spot," and they burst out laughing. I get to the front of the line, and when asked for my order, request 2 dozen donuts, which is every last one remaining. The girls behind me didn't listen to what I ordered, but eyebrows of confusion started to form on their faces, and they slowly saw each donut loaded into the box and their options dwindle. One of them, the driver, in desperation asked the baker who was loading them in, "What, you're not even going to save a few for us, though?" To which I turned around and said, "Sorry, first come, first served." She honestly looked like she just simultaneously solved a movie mystery and shit her pants. It's difficult to put into words, but truly an expression I can never forget. Best donuts I have ever tasted, and enjoyed by the rest of my office the next morning. Oh my god, this is priceless. I don't know if you guys enjoy these little stories from my life, but from driving bus, I have a lot of stories. We park different places in between runs. We go into donut shops, we go into like little convenience stores, I go on trips, I go to different cafes, so I have a lot of different stories that have to do with a bunch of different subreddits. So forgive me if I have a million stories, but this one's about parallel parking. So, luckily in a bus, I don't really have to parallel park. I mean, I can if need be, but I don't really have to. This story has to do with my car. So, every time that I come home, I park on the street, so I have to parallel park sometimes. There's cars on these roads that when they're pulling down, they're so oblivious that while I pull to the car in front of where I need parallel park, they will come straight up to my bumper and wait for me to move. Unfortunately for them, I am super stubborn. So what I always do is I just wait, because I have all the time in the world. You guys can sit here. I will block the way as long as I need to. Sometimes I'll even roll down the window and put my middle finger up until they get the message. No, but usually I'm pretty civil about it. I just say, "Hey, back up, I need a parallel park." But sometimes they're so entitled that they just said, "No, you should loop around so I can get through." And to those people, they get a solid middle finger. I turn my music up and I just sit there and wait. One of these days I'm going to have the cops called on me. But until then, I'm going to enjoy pissing off entitled people. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed. This subreddit was called r/PettyRevenge. It's kind of like the ProRevenge that's circling around right now, but it's a lot pettier, and I'm a very petty person, so I absolutely love it. Maybe someday I will evolve into the beautiful Butterfree that I am, and I will become a ProRevenger. But until then, I will just stick with being petty. Peace out, Girl Scouts.